Hello, welcome to WYTV7 Christian Broadcasting. Welcome to Health and Wellness Conversation. I'm Wellness Nurse Gwen. How are you today? As you know, this is Diabetes Awareness Month, all month. So we have talked about types of diabetes and nutrition for diabetes. Today, I wanted to talk about children and diabetes. Hello. So we are also at WYTV7 doing a campaign to raise money for health and wellness. Please visit us at WYTV7.org, especially on Giving Tuesdays. We thank you for your donations. So today we are going to talk about juvenile diabetes. Juvenile diabetes no longer can be considered to be just diabetes for children. Juvenile diabetes, type 1 diabetes, affects adults too, usually when they have had an attack of the pancreas via a virus. The virus can damage the cells in the pancreas to cause the pancreas not to produce insulin. Children can be born, have congenital disease, which their pancreas is not functioning properly. Juvenile diabetes is a very tragic disease. Even though children are not supposed to be ill and sick, parents do their best to care for them have a regular life while still enjoying the things that children should enjoy. Some things that we need to know about type 1 diabetes is that type 1 diabetes should not keep you from your health goals or from your life goals. Oftentimes, children that succumb to illness at an age, people give up on them. In turn, they give up on themselves. Please encourage your child to live their life to the fullest. It's very important. The more positive outlook that they have, the chances are that their glucose and insulin levels will be better as well. Things that you want to monitor in everyday life with type 1 diabetes in children are being away from home. Are you prepared for your child to be away from home? Whether it is at school, whether you are traveling, whether you are visiting a relative's house, or just running to the food market. You should have your medications, you should have any of your child's devices, and also some glucose substance with your medical doctor's contact information just in case. This is very important. I also urge for parents to have children to wear medical bracelets that state that they are a type 1 diabetic. Other situations away from home are the babysitter, school. These places should be trained and equipped to handle a child with diabetes. If they are not, you want to seek out help from your local health department in getting training for these individuals at the babysitter or school for your child. Also, managing stress, which I sort of touched on a little bit. Children feel stressed too. How stressful is it that a young person has to monitor what they eat, when they eat it, and how much carbohydrates they eat, or the fact that they cannot eat candy like other children can? It's very important to talk to your child, plan with your child, their friends, and their friends' families to create activities that allow the child to feel comfortable, have some control, and that they still have a life. When the playing field is level and they can rise above, they won't feel the stress. It's difficult that children with diabetes cannot participate in some things because of their glucose levels. But as society is learning and research increases, children are able to do more things, such as participate in summer camps, such as participate in sports. There was a time persons did not want children with diabetes at summer camp or participating in sports because they did not know how to manage the child that had diabetes or what to do if anything occurred. You also want to teach your child, depending on their age, about looking at their skin, looking at the bottom of their feet, paying attention to bumping into things, cuts and bruises. Because as you know, even with an older adult that has diabetes, healing can be difficult for a child that has diabetes. You don't want that small skin tear or abrasion to turn into a full-blown wound that can also cause another problem. I want to thank you for coming to WYTV7 Christian Broadcasting, where we love coming to talk to you. We are a nonprofit broadcast that appears every week. The month of November, we are talking about diabetes. Diabetes is so prevalent in our community, we feel that we have to talk about it. Please join us also at WYTV7.org for Giving Tuesdays to give to our health and wellness campaign so we can spread our health and wellness message across the country and teach others that are not able to access the internet. So, back to diabetes and children living with diabetes. You also want to talk to your children's siblings, aunts, uncles, and grandparents. Because your child has diabetes, everyone should be on the same thought process of how can I enable this child to live a full and productive life, but also be mindful of their lifestyle and their diet. Often I tell people that when you sit down, write it out, plan it out, you will have success. This is in the case of pediatric diabetes. When the family comes together as one to plan out activities and meals, it's just a better situation. Make sure your child knows that they are doing the right thing. Make sure they understand the purpose in checking their glucose, the purpose in participating in activities and not being sedentary. They also know the 15 rule about having 15 grams of carbohydrates on them at all times. And that would fall in with a sick day. When a child is not feeling well, if they have a cold or respiratory infection, yes, still check your glucose, still eat if you can, and still take your insulin. It's very important. Now, the other thing that I wanted to go over with pediatric diabetes is parties. As our children get older, they go to parties. So you may have a party at home for your child. Your child may go to a friend's house. Then they may have school parties. They may also have the prom or homecoming. Educate your child of what is appropriate and not appropriate when it comes to being a diabetic and knowing what they can have and cannot have. It's also a good thing to talk to the organizer of the events. Let them know that your child is a diabetic, and if you can offer to have certain items there so your child can still participate. Make sure when you and your child are at events or your child is at an event by him or herself, that there is a space there that they can adequately check their glucose and give their own insulin if necessary. Also, the medical alert bracelet is very important for children at any age. Please be aware that diabetes is one of those diseases. It does not matter how old you are, who you are, race or ethnicity. It is a disease of opportunity. We have to be mindful and we have to be prepared. We can conquer diabetes, but we cannot allow diabetes to conquer us. I thank you for joining me on today while we talked about children and diabetes. Thank you for joining me at WYTV7 Christian Broadcasting and also at WYTV7.org on Tuesdays for donations. Live and be well.